we are celebrating
Ah,
through our research. This conference
ah,
focuses
yeah.
on
So I'll
empowering
create.
the scholarly community
I'll make
from
the
all the
presentation
disciplines
today.
to uncover
Yeah,
the
both here.
state research and experiment with the aim of creating new insights.
And
We
MSME is
intend
the
to
current
provide
topic
a unique
that we
platform
talk.
to bring
Give
together
any
scholars,
introduction.
students, experts from
Yes,
educational institutions, companies, and societies to disseminate knowledge
I don't.
and discuss their most
There may be
recent
something in the chat
high-quality
box,
research
and
work
chat box
with other
look up
experts
button.
in their research.
अंकित को बोलता अंकित
On
कर देगा
this,
म्यूट मेरी स्पीच आएगी
I request Dr. Sunil Kumar Gupta, sir, Associate Dean, Research and Development, Poornima University, to introduce the conference to all of us.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of Poornima University, Jaipur, I extend a warm welcome to Chief Guest Dr. Raj Singh, Vice Chancellor, Jain University, Bangalore. Guest of Honor Dr. Vedvyas Dwivedi, Vice Chancellor, Gokul Global University, Gujarat. Dr. Suresh Chand Padi, President, Poornima University. Architecture Rahul Singhi, Co-founder, Poornima University. Dr. Manoj Gupta, Pro-President, Poornima University. Dr. Dinesh Goyal, Provost, Poornima University. Dr. Chandni Kriplani, Registrar, Poornima University. Deans and heads of all schools and departments, professor and faculty members, participants, keynote speaker and session chairs, and my dear student on this 3 days second international online conference on emerging trend in multidisciplinary research EDTMR 2021. It gives me great pleasure to inform you that more than 150 plus technical papers were submitted from various NITs, government and private institute and university, industries, research organizations from India for their presentation. After reviewers' comments, we have selected around 100 technical research papers for registrations. We have invited talk by 6 keynote speakers and 8 session chairs who are distinguished researchers and academicians from India and abroad on the theme of multidisciplinary research. We have total 8 technical sessions on 29 and 30 June for the research paper presentation of various themes like science, engineering and technology, design and architecture, management and commerce, public health, hotel management and other. All the accepted papers will be published in the conference processing with ISBN. The selected paper will be communicated for publication in Web of Science Scopus. The international conference provide a common platform for researcher, academicians, students, and industrial to exchange their view in different area of research and development. I hope that all the participants of the conference will have very pleasant and enjoyable experience in this event. I congratulate all the participants of EDTMR 2021 for their golden future and successful career. Poornima family would like you to carry sweet memory of EDTMR 2021 and I wish this 3 days international conference grand success. Thank you. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Fasten your seat belts, friends, now, because it is now time to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Ved Vyas Jayaprakash Narayan Dwivedi, for his kind address. Dr. Ved Vyas Jayaprakash Narayan Dwivedi, Vice Chancellor of Gokul Global University, Sidhpur, Gujarat, and the former Vice Chancellor at CU Shah University, Vadhavan, is here, and we are delighted to have you here, sir, and to listen to your erudite presentation. Dr. Ved Vyas is DLIT in Human Interface Technology and Management from the University of South America. His first PhD on ISRO Respond Live Project Chandrayaan First in Electronics Telecommunication Engineering on metamaterial-based miniaturized microstrip antenna for dual band satellite communication is known to all of us. His second PhD on productivity enhancement methodology for Indian higher education institutions in management and governance was also given. MTech from BITS Mesra in EC Engineering and BTech North Maharashtra University in Electronics Engineering. He has to his credit 96 Scopus publications and Web of Science indexed research articles. He has authored 8 international and 6 national books. And I'm proud to share with you that he has 9 patents to his credit. He has guided 13 PhD, 3 MPhil, and 57 MTech scholars. His ideal in life is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Such a person who draws his inspiration from Bhagavad Gita, for him, nothing is impossible. He has delivered 72 talks for institutions located outside India in Russia, Turkey, China, Malaysia, and what have you, Bangladesh, Nepal, Canada. He has delivered above 60 online webinars across the globe, including Kenya, Dubai, Africa, Myanmar, Turkey, on themes of 21st century higher education and technological innovative entrepreneurial systems, improving societal growth and sustainability. In the month of July 2020, Honorable Dr. Vedvyas Ji Dwivedi got his second postdoctoral proposal accepted by NASA PDF Reviewers Committee, entitled Threatening Impact of Wireless Spectrum on Living Beings. He served as wireless telecom engineer at Tata Chemicals Mithapur and research and development electronics engineer at Elecon Engineering Company Limited, Anand. Assistant professor at Gujarat University, associate professor and head of the department at Charusit University, Changa, professor and principal director at GTU, pro vice chancellor and vice chancellor at TU Shah University. So the list goes on and on and on. He has conducted many PhD Viva examinations in India and abroad. With such an illustrious career and such dynamism, we are very, very happy, sir, to have you amongst us, and I invite you for your address.
Thank you so much, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The entire team of Poornima University, Dr. Raj sir, especially my beloved friend Dr. Manoj ji, and the entire research team, all the participants, delegates, and guests from my side. Kindly accept my pranam, namaste. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. Thank you. I was thrilled when I came to know that this kind of second international conference is being organized at Poornima University. Last year also, when it was organized, I was one of the key members in the committee, and I loved the session and I chaired the session of technical papers. I am really privileged to share my knowledge today and experience on the topic ICT perspectives of productive and sustainable development for 21st century higher education institutions in India. This paper I had written for this conference only, and I thought I should present it. And in this paper, I have covered all the kinds of ICT facilities which are basically required for interdisciplinary researches. Interdisciplinary researches does not mean only science with mathematics with physics with microbiology, and microbiology with engineering, and so on and so forth. But it means that art, science, commerce, engineering, management, medicine, mathematics, social sciences, spiritual sciences, and all should be brought on the same platform where my students, my teachers, society, and industry demands get fulfilled. This demand in full-fledged technological innovation and academics from 21st century higher education institutions. The leadership of institutions of higher learning can expect the stakeholders to deliver productive outcomes provided they are facilitated with state-of-art ICT infrastructure, periodic trainings, and high degree of freedom to earn and learn new paradigms of uh, knowledge, right? So this is what is the theme behind it. The questions to implement ICT and provide infrastructure basically and facilities, infrastructure and facilities at par global standard for 21st century become being more critical and critical. Provided when it comes to HEI, higher education institutions, especially located in the rural and remote areas. Reason being, developing and underdeveloping countries like India and others in South Asia. So, model for higher education describes the ICT condition of HEI, higher education institutions, the leadership roles to implement ICT for day-to-day processes, including our say teaching, learning, or evaluation, even administration, such as purchase and research, and especially research when it comes from the interdisciplinary. The alarming barriers are ICT skill, where basically we are not finding that kind of trained, skilled staff members in higher education institutions. Also, the preparedness of the leadership. The leadership should find it itself prepared for to facilitate the teachers as well as other staff members for their training as far the ICT is concerned. ICT enabled campus culture, data security system, audio video system, audio visual recording system, storage system, and then after it, broadcasting through internet and then the speed of internet, right? And maintenance of ICT devices. So all these concerns are there for the leadership of the HEI, higher education institutions in India, especially when it comes to the remote located, remote or rural institutions in the country. And the breakthrough technology indeed is a boon when it involves innovative knowledge. It sharpens the skills to promote and raise earning standard, standard of livelihood and content, say the calmness and happiness in the society, especially when it comes to enhancement of protection of the nature and uh, from the this man-made artificial system, right? So these are the concerns when we come to interdisciplinary subjects and researches, because the entire environment protection, nature protection is a top priority. Higher education institutions, leadership, policy makers, and far-sighted visionaries believe that online ICT enabled governance and governance system, especially for the academic affairs and research, would enhance the productivity of the society, provided the resources are provided and 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 opportunities which are there, they are again need to be recreated unanimously for all, from facilitator to the student. Therefore, ICT benefits indeed are there to favor us strongly for long-term collaboration of higher education institutions, and not with the narrowed down community, but it's for the entire society worldwide in numerous domains of research, infrastructure development, and employability, entrepreneurship due to specialized resource sharing. So, for me, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is augmented reality, virtual reality, it is ICT tool, it is through Swayam or MOOC portal. But we all are having the responsibility, that the willingness and intention of the top leadership and administrators to perform the higher education institutions, its employees, and innovative, effective learning and training for the wider reach of education, and it should be cost effective at all. So the researchers' responsibility in these terms are quite important. With these words, I thank my friend and all the participants over here. We will at elaboration see what actually this ICT answers. ICT is answering all kinds of queries pertaining to the challenges, acceptability, and influence concerned to the 21st century stakeholders of higher education institutions. Because ultimately, societal benefits, societal health, well-being is possible through researchers and higher education institutions. Therefore, this kind of conference is going to contribute for the upliftment and betterment of the entire society, entire human beings, all the environment and atmosphere of the society will enrich through this conference. With these words, I thank again and best wishes.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words, for the concerns that you raise of interdisciplinary research, environment, nature, and to enhance productivity of society. Because at the end, what our researchers should do is benefit society. Thank you, sir, for giving us the idea to reconceptualize our models of research and adopt an organic model that accounts for intricate links between what you said. Thank you very much, sir. We remain indebted to you for your kind words. I have the pleasure now to invite a veteran of many an academic exercise, the chief guest of this morning, Dr. Raj Singh. Welcome, sir, to Poornima University. Dr. Raj Singh is the Vice Chancellor of Jain, deemed to be University, Bangalore. With 40 years of experience, including 27 years in education, he has been the Vice Chancellor of prestigious universities like GD Goenka University, Gurgaon, MET Jaipur, and MET Gwalior since the beginning of 2010. Earlier, he was the Pro Vice Chancellor at MET University, Noida, Director General of the prestigious MET Business School and head of ICFAI Business School, New Delhi, from the inception in 1995. He has been advisor to many universities across India. He served the Indian Air Force from 1981 to 1994. A consultant, a trainer, an astute academic administrator, a teacher, a speaker, and education entrepreneur, Dr. Singh has done his master's in economics and chartered financial analyst and PhD and strategic finance. He's known for his oratory skills and innovative approach in higher education. And ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause because we have amidst us a TEDx speaker, a strong proponent of outcome-based inter- and transdisciplinary education and research. He has been instrumental in designing innovative pathways in collaboration with universities globally, like the University of Warwick, University of Westminster, and Art University of Bournemouth in UK. And in Italy, in France, universities of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Eastern Michigan, and University of California, Riverside in USA, to name a few. A trainer and consultant for Indian and multinational companies like Tata's, Indian Airlines, now Air India, Telecom Consultants of India Limited, Denso India, ANZ, Grindlays, NTPC, GAIL, SAIL, EIL, Birlasoft in Karnataka and others. He has trained over 5,000 teachers in schools as well as higher education. Dr. Singh has published and presented many research papers and delivered keynote addresses in over 80 conferences and has been a panelist in many TV shows. Featured as one of the movers and shakers on Daily World Post and My Icon on FM channel in 2016 and 2017, he represented India at the International Design Summit held in Milan, Italy in 2013. Widely traveled and a visiting professor at IIT Delhi, Delhi School of Economics, Jamia Hamdard University, Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur, Osmania University, Hyderabad. He has been on the advisory boards of many institutions and universities, Education Promotion Society for India, and was the vice chairman of Quality Committee on Education of QCI Government of India. He regularly chairs the expert committees at National Board of Accreditation and was member of the first governing council of the Rajasthan Science Congress. He has been conferred awards for exemplary education leadership in 2012, 16, 17, and Peter Drucker Memorial Award in 2020. He is also the vice co-chair of ASCHEM Karnataka chapter. He has developed the unique transdisciplinary project-centric learning at Jain, which will take education to the intersection of research and practice during Jain 2.0. With such an illustrious career and such huge experience, I'm sure our conference will have great insights from you. Welcome, sir. I now invite you for your address.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, ma'am, Dr. Sudhir Rajiv. Illustrious guest of honor this morning, Dvediji, Honorable President, and my friend, Dr. Padi, Co-President, Deans, Directors, distinguished speakers for the conference, faculty members, researchers, delegates, students, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I thank the President and the management of Poornima University for having me this morning. And I congratulate you all for organizing this conference on a very, very contemporary and important topic. Jaipur name itself brings a nostalgia for me.
Sir,
I think, sir is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There is something wrong, I think, na sir.
disconnect हो गया था शायद.
Disconnect हो गए हैं. Anyway, let us wait.
हाँ नहीं, of course we'll wait. Of course we'll wait. Sir, I just wanted to check कि मेरा system में तो problem नहीं हो.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, I think I got muted somehow, no? So thank you. From the beginning, I was muted?
No, sir. No. In between only for last 1 or 2 minutes.
All right.
Please continue, sir. Thank you.
So I was going through the recent ISHA report, All India Survey on Higher Education, giving data of 2019-20. And Bangalore and Jaipur had some very interesting affinity. I represent Bangalore Urban District, which tops India in terms of number of colleges per lakh of eligible students. That is 1,009 colleges. And Jaipur ranked the second with 606 colleges. And therefore, both these places are serving more densely the education or the eligible category of students. Top 50 districts in our country, mind you, account for 32% of colleges, and I'm sure these two districts will definitely feature there. And of course, Karnataka has the highest college density per lakh students, which is 18 to 23, of 59 compared to average 30 in India, and the lowest 7 in Bihar. In some very interesting statistics. What I plan to do, about 15-20 minutes, which have been given to me. First half, I'll try to set the context as I understand in terms of some statistics and also the current scenario. And the second half, I'll make certain recommendations so that if found feasible or found meaningful by the audience today, they may take some points out of it. When talk about the context, let me first mention that being in the chancellery of 5 universities in 5 different states over the last 15-16 years, I have started research activities in all these universities in some way, starting from writing the regulations to setting up the departments and then launching the PhD program with approval or without approval, depending on the state. I have prepared for NAC accreditation for my universities and faced NAC accreditation. And as was mentioned, for last about 8 years or so, I've been continuously chairing the committees of National Board of Accreditation, including some at Jaipur, of course. I've visited some of the finest institutions in the country and the ones not so good. But one thing common I observed was a serious lack of research, not to talk about a single discipline or multidisciplinary research. Generally, there's a lack, and in all formats, whether it's number of publications, quality publications, or filing of patents or granting of patents, maybe funded research or quality of PhDs and postdoc students, almost total absence of funded research from industry. So whatever little funding was observed, that comes from the government sources. While I set the context, let me throw some statistics at you. And these statistics have compiled from starting from 2015-16 to maybe 18-19, because somewhere old data were available, and thanks to COVID, many have not been published. The research and development expenses, as per UNESCO Institute of Statistics, in India, as a percentage of GDP is only 0.62%, as compared to 1.27% in Brazil, 2.11 in China, 2.74 in US, 3.14 in Japan, and 4.23%, which was the highest, in South Korea. In 2016-17, India had only 216 researchers per million population, only 216, as compared to 7,100, 4,300, and 1,200 respectively in South Korea, USA, and China. In 2017, India filed 14,961 patents against 12,45,709 and 2,93,904 in China and USA respectively. In 2020, this number of patents filed by India went up to 26,309. That was last year. As per the World Intellectual Property Indicators published in 2020, India moved up from number 10 to 8 in ranking in terms of intellectual property created. That was from 2018 to 2019. And the observation, very strong observation, is that whatever little research comes from the government and not from industry. India's share in global research is about 5%, but in terms of citation, it's anywhere between 2 to 3%, which indicates poor quality of research. This is one set of statistics which sets the context. If I look at the structure of Indian higher education sector, which is again very clearly defined in the All India Survey of Higher Education recently published, about 79.5% of the students are enrolled in undergraduate level programs. Only 2,250 PhD scholars were registered, which is less than 0.5% of total enrollments. Minuscule, I would call it. And the maximum number of PhDs registered are in engineering and science streams, and 38,986 PhDs were awarded in the year 2019. The share of PhD students is highest in the state public universities, which is 29.8%, followed by institutional of national importance, 23.2%, deemed universities, which are private, 13.9%, the category which we belong to, and central universities, 13.6%, and of course, there were others which were ranked below this. With the gross enrollment ratio going up to 27.1%, the enrollments are 38.5 millions, out of which 49% are female students. Distance education enrollments stand at 11.1% of the total enrollments. Now come to something very, very significant, which I think is relevant for today's topic. Out of 1,019 universities which fill the data or feature in the survey, only 522 are in general category, and rest are specialized, medical, homeopathic, women university, agriculture university, and so on. Highly specialized, highly focused. 10.75% of the colleges in the country are only for women. Only 2.7% of the colleges run PhD program. 32.6% running only a single program. They're single discipline, which I think is a problem for the topic today, which we are going to discuss. And out of these institutions offering single program, 84.1% are privately managed, and 37.4% offer only B.Ed program, only B.Ed program. Worst scenario is 16.6% of the colleges in the whole country have less than 100 enrollments. So this puts a question mark on the financial viability and the interdisciplinarity per se. And only 4% of the institutions have more than 3,000 students. The large institutions are very, very less. We have roughly 50,000, slightly less than 50,000 foreign students coming from 168 countries. And 10 countries account for more than 68% of this enrollment, and they mainly are neighboring countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, etc., Bhutan. Out of 307 affiliating universities in a country, out of total 1,043, 16 universities affiliate 500 or more colleges. It indicates what the span of control these universities have and the administrative difficulty they must be facing in terms of quality education. Highest number of colleges being affiliated is 942 by a university, that is CSM Kanpur. I wonder the Vice Chancellor and Dean would even remember the names of these universities. Forget about focusing on the quality. But I think a most important context we need to understand in recent times is the next 4 to 5 years. And if I go by the science journal Nature, which published a research study in February, March this year, said that the consequences of COVID-19 are likely to be lasting for next 10 years. 3 to 4 years, it will remain a pandemic, may not be all over the world, but in different countries, in different pockets, with the fear of traveling and international business getting affected. It will become endemic after that. And like we have many other viruses, every year they resurface and make people victim. That may continue almost up to 1 decade. Yes, the COVID-19 and its consequences will push whatever we do in education and research largely. And that needs to be kept in mind. The second factor in this context is that technology, and popularly we make it synonymous with Industry 4.0, even though 3.0 is no less, and 5.0, which has come in, which says technology with heart and emotions are going to coexist and going to influence it, going to enable whatever we do. And the second thing which is going to enable is the conceptual sophistication which has happened over the last 10 to 15 years. And the most important of this, I'll mention three great thinkers of our times. One is Dr. C.K. Prahlad, who published his first book around 2004, and the next one came 3-4 years back. And the book is titled as Fortune at the Bottom of Pyramid, where he says that 2/3 population of the world, which is almost 4.5 to 5 billions now, live below $20 per day. And this is layers, $20, $10, $5, and so on. It is this segment of the population which will provide opportunities and scope for further education and research, and everyone should look at that. The third factor which happened last year was the announcement of new national education policy on 29th of July 2020. And it basically talks about predominantly, among many others, there are almost 14, 15 major points. But I think emphasis on outcome-based education is one. Research and interdisciplinary large universities is second more important. And the journey to be undertaken from STEM to STEAM, which means bringing in role of art, humanities, and social science in education, all this taken together, NEP 2020 will be pulling us towards what we are expected to do or what we should be doing. And I think along with this, we cannot ignore the environment which is being shaped by a lot of government initiatives, both nationally, internationally, national missions and initiatives, whether it's strategic development goals, millennium goals, and goal number 4 talks about quality education. And back home, initiatives like Startup India, Make in India, and most recently, Atmanirbhar Bharat. I think they have created immense opportunities for educationists and researchers when it comes to interdisciplinary research. So I think in this context, if I want to make some humble recommendations, how do we bring in inter and transdisciplinary research and education? I'll take 30 seconds in explaining when I use these terms, inter, multi, and transdisciplinary, particularly for the benefit of students and young faculty members. When we offer just one discipline, like I mentioned, B.Ed, and mostly have 100 or less students, there's nothing else. Or for that matter, some of our elite institutions like IIMs, they offer only management. This is called single discipline. When we start offering 2 disciplines together or more, and a miniature could be seen when you offer dual specialization in a particular program, but you offer them in isolation, it is called multidisciplinary. And the key point to be noted here is that they don't interact, they don't inform each other, they remain in isolation. When the multiple disciplines, 2 or more, start interacting, it is called interdisciplinary. They start informing each other. Could be within the broad disciplines or across disciplines. And when the interaction of more than one discipline starts solving the real life problems, because real life problems cannot be solved with just one discipline. You have to have a team which brings in complementary skills. And that is called a transdisciplinary education. So you need to understand these 4 quadrants when I'm using these terms as we go along. I put together 7 recommendations. I'm sure each one of you will find at least one of them relevant, one of them appealing, and I'm sure I'll be able to contribute meaningfully to today's topic. The first one is, the recommendation from my side is, and which I of course have been doing all my life, we need to expand research opportunities. You may also call it learning opportunities. And how do you do this? One of the most important way and the fastest way of doing this is collaborate. Collaborate across departments. You would agree with me that in the universities of yesteryears, one department does not know the people of other department in the same building because they never interacted. So collaborate across departments, across disciplines, across industries. And when I say with industry, the time has come when academic institutions and industry start cohabiting to co-create and co-own curricula. Otherwise, industry will create, own it, and will keep looking at them by like a bystander or an onlooker, and will be left behind again. Friends, we should not lose this opportunity. Time has come when the university offices have to be in the community premises and company offices to be open in university premises. That's what I mean by cohabiting. We must collaborate across cultures to understand the cross-cultural nuances, cross-cultural requirements, cross-cultural habits, work ethics, and orientation towards an economic system to understand the environment fully. And we must collaborate across nations. This will, on one hand, help us in tapping the resources which are available globally, and we don't have to create our own resources. But I think bring that much desired inter and transdisciplinarity in education research. So my first recommendation is collaborate with different people, different research organizations, nations, cultures, and so on. The second one is we need to remove this fragmentation which was indicated by the statistics I presented to all of you. Types of colleges, universities, not interacting, single discipline. And you will believe me that once this provision of national education policy is implemented, that you have to necessarily become multidisciplinary. You know, good and bad, very elite and not so elite institutions will suffer. They need to start thinking. I can cite an example. I'm in the vicinity of, I'm Bangalore here. They've already planned to start a 4-year humanities program along with the PJDM. So people are worried, people are working on this because the next 4 to 5 years, single disciplines will disappear. And by 2034, the concept of affiliate college will disappear. And it's a very bold statement of national education policy that from currently about 51,000 institutions, out of which 1,000 universities, 40,000 colleges and few other institutions of national importance, autonomous colleges, only 15 to 20,000 institutions will remain once all the provisions of national education policy have been implemented. We need to look out for this. So we remove these fragmentations and become multidisciplinary, either organically, we keep on setting departments within the universities, and universities are, for the matter, so uniquely placed, they can easily do it. Or otherwise, through collaborations, as I mentioned, some kind of understanding where all the universities in the vicinity or in a district come together and have common offerings for the student population so that they do not find anything wanting. And believe me, this will be intensified, expedited, and facilitated once academic bank of credit becomes operational. You must have seen the draft regulation. It's only a matter of time when they become a new law, wherein the students will be required to take only 30% credits from the university they are enrolled with. The remaining 70% they can take from anywhere under the sun and in any mode of education and say, I have earned the credits, please come and grant me degrees. So this fragmentation has to be removed. I often say that if human beings are multidisciplinary, why should education be single discipline? It's a fundamental question we need to answer to ourselves. The third recommendation is that we need to lay more emphasis on research, which is not only academic. Academic research has to be extended, has to be linked to innovation and entrepreneurship. Otherwise, it's absolutely meaningless. I'll appeal to each one of you, all the speakers panel and 206 audience more, to ask yourself, what has happened to your PhD thesis or MPhil thesis or master's thesis? Majority of them are lying in the almirahs and shelves. We never opened it again. We never even published a paper out of it. Imagine if a substantial percentage of this was taken into innovative ideas which will help solve the problems of local community and industry. That's what I mean by linking research to innovation and entrepreneurship. And the solutions should be not only for the current problems, but also the future problems. As you would know that when COVID struck, we all looked up to a scientist and says, guys, come on, deliver. And fortunately, they delivered, of course, with a time lag of maybe a year or more. But imagine if through predictive kind of analysis or some other technique which scientists would know better, if you can forecast some of the viruses of this kind coming in, of course, they have to be natural for that, not artificial, and then find solutions, maybe almost the same time when they strike the world. That is the expectation of the society and community from the academic world. And I think we cannot say that we can't deliver. Everybody looks at us. It is that kind of innovation and entrepreneurship I'm talking about, or practice I'm talking about. Teaching can be largely taken care of by online teaching learning, whether synchronous or asynchronous. It has been proven. You would agree with me that in March 2020, something which we vehemently opposed, we did not accept till evening 8 o'clock. Next day, early morning, we said, yeah, this is the only way to move forward. So I think the acceptability of change is highest ever in the history of higher education. And academic leaders should not lose this opportunity. What model we have suggested for all times to come, and it has got, I think, positive response from all over the world. I keep testing. I have this dirty habit of posting these opinions on social media because that's the best way of opinion mining today. We have decided that only 1/3 of the education for almost all times to come will be offered in face-to-face. And we'll use this 1/3 time only for very essential things like practical labs and few important discussions which you need to have face-to-face with the professors. 1/3, which is theory, will be delivered online, whether COVID or no COVID. And remaining 1/3, this is the only thing which makes me happy, that things which I have been struggling to fighting with people to bring in those innovative ideas which people didn't accept and they kept postponing. Thanks to COVID, they accept it now. We will shift learning outside the classroom, where you involve students into field-based research and practice kind of projects. And that is going to bring in that innovation. I'm reminded of the beautiful statement with one of the non-scientists, Dr. R.A. Mashilkar, once made. He said, research converts data and information into knowledge and consumes resources, consumes money. And we always keep on crying that there's a shortage of funds. We do not have resources to input in the research. He says, if you complete the cycle of converting that knowledge back into money through innovation, there'll be a complete circle and you will never find shortage of funds for research. And once you do that, once you are in innovation, maybe that can be indicated through filing of patents, industry will start funding. Because today, industry has a trust deficit with the academic institutions. They don't believe we can deliver them something worthwhile in terms of innovative ideas and solutions. So I think for the universities also, the challenge in next few years will be to establish this credibility with the industry so that they start funding the research initiatives. The fourth one is that the curriculum needs to be relooked at, including that of the PhD coursework. Though very, very few institutions offer PhD program, but whoever is offering, they need to relook at it and should be mapped with industry requirement. I think this PhD has to remove the label of being purely academic. It has to become industry relevant. It has to become applied. And that can happen if you make it relevant to industry, topic by topic. You should map and say whether my research is going to be applied or not. And of course, it should be interdisciplinary. We should have courses taught to the PhD scholars which bring in that interdisciplinary approach. And I often say this can be taken care of by the research scholar and the guide at the stage of research design. You would know that when we design is finalized, 85% of the efforts and the costs are committed at that time, because after that you can't do much. You can't really come back and say, let me look at the design completely. Design is the extremely, extremely important stage in the finalization of this topic. The fifth one is that new ideas and applications will become part of the ecosystem only. See, if you look at historically, India adopted a strategy of setting up research organizations, and they gave a lot of money and they failed in delivering. It can only happen if universities undertake research, and in that universities, students get involved in the research. Then only the ecosystem will be created. The sixth strategy is something which I have implemented, we have copyrighted, is project-centric learning, wherein every semester students take a project which is transdisciplinary in groups of 5 each, and all the 5 students coming from different disciplines. Because interdisciplinarity need not only be mentioned on paper, it has to be implemented on ground. And the outcomes will be what universities need to deliver. Either they will lead to patents, some of them startups, and the worst outcome will be a good quality paper publication. Just to give statistics, in the one semester itself, we had 1,000 papers in Scopus only coming from the students. And what we did, we said, use research paper as one of the instruments of continuous assessment. And the faculty members were flooded with research papers, which of course we improved with the help of faculty, and 140 patents. I'm talking of January onwards, this semester, which has just concluded. So this is what we have implemented, and the focus is on that bottom of pyramid, which Sikapla talked about, where we solve local problems using local resources. And finally, each of the university I recommend must decide its research beacons, the areas where you want to focus it, the areas where you're strong in, the areas where the local demand is there, the local ecosystem encourages this. And they should be well conceptualized, well articulated, and please put them on your website. You will attract the talent in terms of faculty members who want to specialize there, who want to find ventilation there, and the students who want to pursue research and career in those areas. They should be very, very carefully articulated and include in the KRA of the faculty members not only teaching hours, but much more than that. How many papers, how many patents, how many MOOCs. The environment has changed, and all that has to go into the KRAs of the faculty member. Move away from only and only teaching hours, because teaching hours in any case have lost relevance. They have given way to online learning anytime, anywhere. Students have access to technology more than us, and therefore there's a democracy of availability of information available, which will affect the profession called teaching, who been engaging themselves as a redistributor of knowledge generated by somebody else. Today, we have to become the generators of knowledge. We can no more be in this business of redistributor of knowledge, because that will not be there. Students are there before me, thanks to technology and access to information and knowledge available throughout the world. And if we do these, or maybe a combination of these, I think there definitely be an impact, and we will be able to move in the direction of realizing not only the vision of the country, implementation of new education policy, and of course, fulfilling the vision of our own institutions, and fulfilling that responsibility which we have kept aside all these years of responding to the problems of society, community, and industry, which they're expecting from us. So thank you so much, Dr. Padisab, for having me this morning, listening to so many people, and being with this such distinguished panel of speakers this morning. Thank you so much. I wish the conference all the best, and I'm sure the deliberations over the next 2-3 days will come up with some consensus, and everybody will have more clear idea about what are the trends in inter-transdisciplinary research as we go along. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an erudite presentation. Your presentation has recharged and revitalized us in our pursuit of excellence. I think that your presentation set the context very well. But what, my takeaway from your presentation is the multidisciplinarity and transdisciplinarity. You beautifully set the context, and I'm sure if we take up the ideas that you have, you have shared with us, there will be a lot of enrichment on our campuses. Because taking an interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary approach can enrich our thinking, our work, our contribution. And this unity of knowledge, as I call it, is what is paramount in bringing about a social change. Because the end result of all research, what I take away from your talk is that it should be able to change the society. So breakthrough innovation occurs when we bring down boundaries and encourage disciplines to learn from each other. Thank you so much, sir. We are indeed honored to have you and to have learned along with you. I'm sure that you have set the note for the conference, and it will definitely deliberate on all the things, all the ideas that you have presented to us. Thank you very much, sir,
Thank you so
for
much.
that. Because I think this creative breakthrough that you have suggested will provide a new perspective from different angles and uh, will yield unexpected pathways into our entire system, so that we Indians move from being service providers to knowledge creators. And I think that is what the crux of the entire thing that I'm taking away from here. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
With this, the journey of transcending boundaries starts. The inaugural of this entire conference will come to an end, but it will mark a new beginning for us. We do hope we can maintain an interesting and constructive program that augurs well for the generation of new energy, a new vision to promote a spirit of free interaction. I thank you all for being here, for participating in this event. This event may end at the close of 3 days, but your presence and your attendance will transform it into cherished memories through which this morning will continue to live forever in our minds. This indeed is a happening for which Poornima University is deeply indebted to one and all of you. We come to the end of today's session. I now request our Pro-President, Sir, Dr. Manoj Gupta, to please propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Sudhir Rajiv, Madam. At the outset, I welcome you all. Happy morning to all of you, all the respected dignitaries, my colleagues on faculty and staff, all the distinguished speakers, participants, research scholars, and dear students. This two-day international online conference on emerging trends in multidisciplinary research, we are organizing in this difficult time, pandemic time. Earlier last year, we organized its first version, when we have never thought that the first version would have been the online version. We did it in July. As such, we planned it in November 2019, but we did it in 2020 July, and it was online. I pray to God Almighty that the third version should not be online as such. We should have a gathering, we should have people in our campus, research scholars in our campus, and we should all see face to face, meet with people, because ultimately at the end, the purpose of education means this is also because a lot of learning is through meeting and networking and collaborating. So I'm very much thankful at the in the beginning to my team, particularly Dean Research, Dr. Sunil Gupta, Dr. Gali, who have put a lot of hard work in last so many days, even months, to bring this conference on real ground. I'm really very much thankful to all the deans and HODs and our faculty who have made it possible. Thank you all. Please give them a big round of applause. They are the real heroes of today's. Thank you. I'm again thankful to my seniors, my mentors, and our management team, particularly Architect Rahul Singhi, our President Dr. Suresh Chandpade, our Provost Dr. Dinesh Goyal, Registrar Dr. Chandani, and all the deans and faculty members. When we organize such programs, we always look for a person who can guide us, who can tell us something which is different, who can take us to the futuristic direction, who can give us something, and his blessing even is far more important for all of us. And today we are very lucky to have Dr. Raj Singh amongst us. Sir, your address was wonderful. You have given so many things, you can say food of thought for doing so many things in the university. And we also are putting efforts for multidisciplinary research. Even being university, we are lucky that we can do that. That's why all the departments and schools are participating. They are putting up papers, publishing papers, and meeting with other universities and colleges at the school level, department level, so that this multidisciplinary research can be brought in the university as such. Even though we are putting efforts for interdisciplinary research, it is very easy to say, but very difficult in the given environment when we have boundaries in schools, departments. This kind of structure we have from so many years. We don't have teams kind of research where people from different schools come together. They take a single broad area, then they do some research and finally come out with their different topics. And this is what multidisciplinary research is. And we are putting efforts in this direction. And we have taken few areas, topics, as you said, rightly said, that there should be some focus areas. Renewable is focus area for us, water is focus area for us, and data science is focus for us. And I'm sure that your delegation, your thought will go a long way. People who are listening, more than 200 participants, will understand that. And it is easy also to do research, multidisciplinary research or interdisciplinary research, because if you learn other areas, technology, particularly computer is everywhere nowadays. 30%, 40% computer everywhere. Everyone is using. AI is not for computer, it is for everyone. So if we are able to use these kind of technologies and understanding in different schools, different departments, then research will also become far easy, and we will be able to get good outcome, useful outcome for our society, and we will be able to do justice to the research also, as Dr. Raj Singh rightly said, that it is very much required also. So, sir, I am very much thankful to you, Dr. Raj Singh, sir, for giving your precious time. We have noted all your recommendations. We will try to focus on that. And your presence today has made this event a grand event, and importance of this event has enhanced a lot. Thank you, sir. Now I'm thankful to my elder brother, you can say. He's like elder brother. He's always supportive to me, and he used to be giving all the time input and helping us in all our events. Dr. Divedi. Today he got some emergency. Even though he was in traveling, then also he took session while traveling also, and he was very busy today. But I'm very much thankful to, from bottom of my heart, for coming to this particular inaugural session and taking the session and giving his input on very important aspect, that is ICT enabled teaching learning process. I'm sure that we have noted the points and recommendations of both the experts, and our team will make a note of it. They will take it forward. They will publish it somewhere in our proceedings and in our you can say reports and all that. So I'm very much thankful to Dr. Divedi for his contribution in all our events. Thank you very much, sir. Now I'm thankful to all the authors, those who have given papers, submitted papers to our conference. And we all know that writing paper, it takes a lot of time, efforts, energy, and it is not as like 4, 5, 6 piece of paper. We understand your contribution, your hard work. So I appreciate you all. I congratulate you all for submitting paper to our conference. I'm thankful to all the students, those who are listening. I request them to attend all the technical sessions. And because learning is not in classroom, as rightly said by Dr. Raj Singh, only that this is learning 30% is theoretical, 30% in industry or outside learning, or exposure or experience, and 30% nowadays online. So this mindset has to be changed of everyone, and our students should understand, and they should note that these kind of conferences will give you that kind of perspective which in teaching we cannot give. Every author will bring something which is innovative, useful for your career, for your life ahead. So I'm thankful to, at last, Dr. Sudhi Rajiv Madam for nicely conducting this particular inaugural session and taking it forward. So thank you all. Thank you everyone for attending this inaugural session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for attending this session. Never was zenith attained in solitude, being single. Our best comes out when we compete and mingle. So here we come together to mingle the disciplines and pave the way forward for research and analysis. Thank you very much for being here. for being a part of Poornima University, for giving us your time. And I wish you all very happy deliberations over the next 2 days.
Thank you.
With this, I, Sudhir Rajiv, take leave of you and be safe, stay home, stay safe. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.